It's a useless waste of time. I don't care what's on your What up, everybody? Taco Tuesday, yeah! Taco Tuesday, what up? Feels good. I like today's. It's nice to chat about stuff without the taking a break from gaming is nice. So yeah, welcome to Tuesday. I hope everyone's Tuesday is going well and at the start of the week, the work week. Now I don't even know what day it is anymore with COVID blending everything. But hopefully it's all going smoothly and getting better as time progresses. So before I begin, I'm gonna do my usual shout-outs. But today's discussion is gonna begin with cognitive dissonance. Might bleed into other areas. I was discussing with a friend of mine that I talk to a lot on Discord. He's a student in music school, so I was discussing maybe having him chat to us a little bit about music if people are interested in kind of deviating the conversation that way. And kind of what it's like to be in music school and stuff like that. Because I do love music and I play music, but I'm by no means a music student or no music theory, anything like that. My profession is I'm attempting to be a scientist. So yeah. So usual shoutouts is, well, right now I don't think I have to do a shout out for Taco Tuesday as I am doing it, but it is going to continue to be every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the will run for an hour to half an hour to an hour, depending on how much there is to talk about and how much audience interaction there is. So far, I've just been chatting into an empty room, which I'm totally, well, not necessarily empty. Actually, some people have joined me, never mind. But sometimes I do expect to be chatting into an empty room, and that's totally fine. So on those days, I'll expect a shorter conversation, but with audience interaction and stuff, it might bleed into more than an hour, and that's totally fine too. That's the point of today. It's to just talk about stuff. And of course, the other thing I want to mention about Taco Tuesdays, since we're talking about it, is that although there's a topic chosen by me every week, that's just kind of to inspire a talk, to get a spark going, and to give a little bit of kind of like a voice to science again a little bit. And get more people like kind of aware of some theories out there and stuff like that. Just get them thinking about it. I'll choose topics like that, inspired by science and stuff. But it doesn't necessarily always have to be about that. I know my very first Taco Tuesday had zero science and more so about just life experience of just getting this feeling that you're not smart enough to take something on. So I talked about that and my experience with it as an undergrad and my experience with it as a graduate student. So that's what Taco Tuesdays are about, and I'm always gonna like audience interaction and kind of addressing their questions or comments, or if they want to change the topic, I'm so happy to. But this topic is chosen just because I'm expecting so far to be talking to an empty room, which is completely fine, like I said, because these videos or these streams are also being recorded, so they'll be put on YouTube. So that way anyone watching it, well, it's better to be watching at least someone chatting to a camera than waiting for someone to pop into the chat room. So anyway, I've written down some notes here, so that's why I'm looking down, because I do want to do a shout out. Something kind of one supporter here, his name is Geeky, so I'm going to do a quick shout out to Geeky. Was asking if I could use some help building a Discord channel for this community, essentially, because I mentioned I have a Discord and I've been talking on it, and it's like this really simple, as it's nothing special Discord, and he created a chat channel on this Discord and kind of inspired me to create more channels. So I just want to make a quick shout out, or advertisement if you will, for this Discord channel that we're going to try to build. And it's basically going to encapsulate things talked about here. So for example, today I'm talking about cognitive dissonance. I've already placed in the Discord channel, in a channel called Citations, the citation channel, I've already placed some of the citations that I'm going to be talking about today, which is mainly just cognitive dissonance. And although I might not be placing absolutely every single citation that I talk about during every single stream, because that'd be a lot of homework, and I'm already a graduate student with a lot of homework. If people, I mainly want that channel to be an open space where people are like, hey, is there any science on this? Can I get a citation? So I can, like, that way people can go hunt down articles. If you're really struggling to find articles, let me know. Reach out to me and I'll try to get you the article myself, or at least get you a method that you can read the articles yourself. And when I mean empirical articles, sometimes people have this misconception of what empirical article might mean. This is like the primary research. This is like the raw research coming straight from the science, or for the most part, straight from the scientists' mouths, that the media tries to portray or they sometimes mistranslate, because you do science is kind of like a language, if you will, and it is quite difficult to write science. I'm in the process of learning it. That's graduate school. We're learning how to write science the proper way, because we have to be extremely careful reporting what we're finding. If we're supposed to be the people, looking for truths and kind of discovering new theories and establishing evidence for current theories and things like that, then we need to make sure that our written word can, at best, we have to do our best to not be misconstrued in any way. And since so many people will read our words in different ways or in different languages and things like that, man, we have to really think about every sentence super hard. So I kind of have a deeper appreciation for empirical articles now, because it takes so much thought on the author's behalf, just sitting there and be like, all right, I have to make sure that this makes sense across the board for as many people as possible, because this is like a truth I'm trying to show evidence for this thing that I'm trying to say. Anyway, sorry, that was a long tangent. Anyway, so what I'm saying is an empirical article is the raw truth, and so not the raw truth, the raw science, sorry. And sometimes those articles are only found in kind of like, they're owned by publishers, and so they require subscription to their journal, if you will, and so that's what can cause barriers. So let me know if you're kind of encountering too many of those, and we can discuss something. So basically, that's kind of one major function of this Discord channel that we're building. I've also created other channels like science memes, just if people want to kind of joke around, but it's also kind of keep it sciencey, nerdy, whatever. But also, I also have a gaming chat there, because this is Shark Party GG, the gaming grad. So anything gaming related, if people want to talk there, they can. Yeah, and then there's also going to be learning resources. So my channel down there, if you ever get a chance to see this my actual Twitch channel, down below my about section, there is a science and education resources section, and I'm just listing a lot of different resources that either myself I used in college or currently use in graduate school, such as R, the programming language, and statistics. Like we use that to do statistics and run them. We use R. But also other resources that people have recommended. I went to what's it called, to Reddit, and asked like people like, what are some resources that you found helpful? And someone's like, I'm always happy to plug my physics channel or my physics link, and I went and checked it out, and it was a lot of fun. Like I was playing around with Newton's laws, and it kind of presented physics in a like more simplistic, not simple. I don't want to like, in a way easier way to understand than some textbooks may put physics. So that's like in my about. So I've been accumulating these resources, but obviously the list may at some point get way too big. So this Discord channel will serve as a database for learning resources and things like that. So people can also post what they find useful and things like that. And this can be in any category. Of course, my background is in biology, psychology, neuroscience, all of that. And so mainly I'm going to be talking about those things. But this doesn't mean that the community can't talk about engineering. I love engineering, by the way. But engineering, art, history, music, anything. That's what this channel is about. It's about talking about all sorts of things. I'm just sharing my experience, and then everyone else can share theirs. But this is also a place for asking questions. That's why I've also opened these channels. So if you have questions for a graduate student, I am a current graduate student. I'll do my self intro in a second. I just want to finish this little shout out for the Discord, because I'm excited. It's a new thing that kind of got started today, actually. So if anyone's interested in joining our community on Discord, just reach out during any of the streams, gaming or Taco Tuesday, Science Friday, anytime. Just go ahead, drop a comment in the chat. It is active. That's what this box next. Oh no, I was right the first time. That's what this box next to me is about. So I'll read your comment, and then we'll get you invited to the channel, to the Discord channel, to join our science community. And there's also a channel, of course, for just chatting about science, chatting about ideas, chatting about maybe something you thought about after I streamed about a certain concept. Like, dude, I actually thought about that, and what about this? Or like, hey, I've been thinking about this theory. Is there any scientific theory that supports this notion? Stuff like that. Just that's what the science channel is about. And talk about your science. Talk about things that interest you. Whatever you want. So that's all found on the Discord. Last thing is just I made this note, and I feel like I'm going to regret not saying this if I don't. For the citation channel request, just really quick, when you want citations, before you feel like you need to do all this work to join the channel and ask for citations from my Discord channel, um, you can start to ask for or look for citations by in my About channel. In my About, there's a link for Google Scholar. In Google Scholar, it's actually a great start at trying to get your empirical articles. So you just type in what variables you're interested in into Google Scholar, and then like say like you want to see like I don't know smoking risk. And smoking and increased risk of cancer, for example. I don't know, and then it'll start spitting out all these empirical articles from like medical journals, psychology journal, whatever area you want, and you can go refining your searches, just like normal Google searches would let you do too. So that's just before, if you feel like, oh man, I want to kind of just search about these articles, but not really, I don't really feel like joining the Discord and going through the whole process. Totally fine, totally cool. Yeah, this channel is all about getting you guys connected to information. It doesn't have to be about being in this exclusive club or whatever. This is open for at any level. You don't have to be a member to get access to information. That's the thing I'm trying to promote most with this channel. So just to know that Google Scholar link is below. And then during any channel, if you're not part of the Discord community, it's totally, like I said, it's totally fine. If you just want to request specific things that you're having issues finding, always ask me, and I'll try to get it for you. Okay. Next, sorry, and then I will just start discussing cognitive dissonance. Just a little bit, I want to introduce a little bit of background in case someone's like first listening to this stream or this recording. I am a fourth year graduate student in a social neuroscience program. Social neuroscience kind of, what that means is my lab is at the intersection between social psychology and neuroscience. And neuroscience is kind of like a really broad term for studying the brain on many levels, like a lot of different levels. And you can address different things. So we're addressing behavior. So our lab kind of addresses behavior on a social psychological theory base, and also on a neuroscientific base of using like MRI, EEG, EKG, biophysiological measures to kind of address our social psychological questions. So that's kind of my background. I'm a fourth year graduate student, which means by now I've already completed 3 full years. Within those 3 years, I've had to pass several tests. Those are called like our quals. One of the final tests of those quals, if you will, is our master's thesis. So I've already written up my master's thesis, presented it, defended it, passed it. So I do have my master's. And that's where I'm currently at. So I'm currently in dissertation phase, which, if you're unfamiliar with that term, it just means kind of like, to put it very, very summarized, if you will, like a final project, like kind of do some scientific push, some I don't know, some big research project, and you're going to present it. So I'm currently in the proposal phase. I have to write up, I'm currently designing it and kind of looking up all the previous literature to base my current theories on and build my experiments on. And so I'm going to present the previous theory, try to convince a panel of judges, which is going to be like 4 or 5 other professors that are already PhDs, already academics. One of those on the channel will be my own advisor. And basically, I just present to them like, okay, these are the things I want to study because of these. This is what's already been done on the topic. This is what's missing on the topic. And then I'm going to focus on what's missing because that's what my experiments are on. So to address what's missing, I designed these experiments. This is how this experiment's going to run. This is how this experiment's going to run. This is how this experiment's going to run. And this is how this experiment's going to. Because right now my dissertation has 4 and possibly 5 experiments I have to run. And I'm going to say how they all like kind of link to each other and how the data that they will provide will answer the question that I was originally saying, this is what's missing. And then the judges can discuss and be like, okay, so like we find flaws in your theory here, here, here. Why would you do that? Why would you do this? And they kind of go back and forth, and I'm defending this. And if they finally say, okay, yeah, that sounds like very feasible, it sounds awesome, they give me the green light, and then I get basically like 2 to 3 years to do this experiment and actually run it, get the data, and then again present to that same committee like, all right, here's what I ran, this is what I found. And if they like the overall entire process, they go, okay, you did the entire whole scientific process, starting from the literature review, like learning what's already existed, to presenting absolutely new information because you ran research yourself, all by yourself. And that's what's called our dissertation. And so if we've passed that final test, we get our PhD. So then you can call us doctors. PhD stands for Doctorate in Philosophy. If you're kind of shocked by that term or like, whoa, PhDs are doctors, like, yes. Medical doctors, the people that we regularly call doctors, their degree is called medical doctor, MD. And then actually lawyers could also technically, I guess, be called doctors because their degree is called Juris Doctorate, JD. Okay. So yes, I'm in my 4th year. As an undergrad, I did a degree in biology and also a degree in psychology. So I have 2 bachelor's degrees, again in biological sciences and the other one in psychological sciences. Okay, so that's a little bit of background about myself. I guess a little bit of research background about myself. I really like addressing social behavior and social questions using biology. Like I feel like I should understand the brain as a biological organism, as a biological system to understand behavior. But the thing is, if I don't understand psychology, here's the thing where the biology has kind of its shortcomings is they don't address so much the context around the cells, because I really like cellular biology. But the thing is, it never addresses the context around the cells. For example, if I wanted to study adrenaline, well, what if I compared cells where the surrounding was a bear about to maul a person versus a person just laying at the beach, right? That's context. That's instilling fear. So we of course would expect adrenaline to be pumping during Exhibit A, but not during Exhibit B. So I just felt like when I was an undergrad, I felt like biology is kind of missing this context key thing, and I feel like social psychology hits it right on the head. Like they have been studying theory regarding social context, intergroup theory or interpersonal contact, and just the self and who we are as a cognitive being. I feel like they hit it right on the head. So my background is kind of trying to fuse these two. It's like, okay, social psychology is addressing all these things that biology isn't. However, social psychologists don't have the time, or they don't address really the cells here. Because if we understand the cells, we can kind of understand the fundamentals of our behavior. So what I really love about my lab is we're kind of trying to address those two things. We're kind of trying to merge multiple sciences, and that's why we're called a social neuroscience, if you will. So today's topic, okay, actually, I'm going to give it a minute for me to catch my breath and let anyone join in, any last minute people join in, and see if there's any questions so far or any comments, discussions. Oh, and I do want to mention really quick for the Discord channel, suggestions are always welcome for things that you want to see in the channel or things to improve the stream. So, thank you. I'll give it a minute. In that minute, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see, I'm back. So, oops, wrong thing. All right, so let's talk about cognitive dissonance, shall we? So I was trying to think of a way to introduce this, and I guess this is the introduction, because I didn't get to think of an introduction. I don't know, but the last minute thing I kind of I thought of. Sorry, there we go, brain fart. Was have you ever had this feeling where you're doing something and you don't feel really good about it, but you just keep doing it? Like some sort of psychological tension, like it's a stressor that you're like a stress response you're feeling, but you can't really explain it too much. For example, here's one of the I think this is one of those examples they give when there's tension you might feel. So let's just say you are a pet owner and you have a dog and you really like your dog or a cat or a bird or whatever it may be, but you're a pet lover and you kind of endorse this idea that animals are, they can feel and they're great and we should value their lives too, and you endorse that idea. But then you go to a restaurant and you eat a nice fat T-bone. So you get this feeling that if anyone reminds you of your pet or anything like that, like if you were to talk about your pet in a loving manner, and you talk about a little bit of animals, right? And this is called the spreading of activation of your memories and stuff. And that can be a discussion for a later point if we need to. But you get this notion, you might get this feeling, I don't know who you are, but you might. And again, this example doesn't apply to everybody, but this is just a broad example. You might get this feeling that you're not enjoying the steak as much all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, and you have to do something about it because you just lost joy in the experience. So this is what I mentioned. You might have encountered a behavior where all of a sudden you just feel this stress or this tension, and you don't really know how to ease it. So this guy. So at the beginning of the stream, I put you can start Googling Leon Festinger, or I don't know if that's actually I think people pronounce it Leon, but Leon in Spanish, I guess, Leon Festinger. But Leon Festinger, he was an American psychologist, and he started describing this and putting a science behind it and putting some data to it. The cool thing about Leon Festinger here is at the time he did this, there was a lot of popularity in what was called behavioral psychology or behavioralism. B.F. Skinner, and Pavlov, those type of responses were like really the fathers of this behavioral movement of like, oh, we're just products of our environment. We're just reacting to stimulus, and that's all we are. Leon Festinger, though, started saying, I think there's more. I think there's more to us than just being like kind of black boxes. I think there's more going on inside the head. And this is kind of where we start to see the beginning of what's called the cognitive revolution in psychology in general, or in science, if you will. So he starts to begin, and Festinger ends up being the kind of like the big key player in developing cognitive dissonance theory, but also social comparison theory. And I'll quickly just define social comparison theory because today's topic is cognitive dissonance. But social comparison theory is like, this is the first guy to start analyzing and getting data behind this notion that we might tend to compare to different types of people based on different types of needs we may have at the moment. So if we feel we need inspiration, we might compare ourselves to someone above us. If we feel like we need an ego boost, we might compare to someone below us. Be like, oh, like look down on people. So that this type of theory kind of feeds into supporting a lot of different theories of like why hierarchies in society exist, why social dominance theory. I can go into so many theories. Wow, social dominance orientation. That's Prado and Sedanus, if you want that citation there. Prado and Sedanus, social dominance orientation. Prado, and I'll put that in the chat. Sedanus. SDL. Let me grab the citation really fast. I'm going to Google Scholar. So if you're listening to this, and when I mentioned Google Scholar as like the starting point, this is where I get citations super fast, because if I just put Prado Sedanus SDO, I can click what it's called. Like there's like this little logo underneath any article, and it looks like a quotation mark. And if you just click that, you get the full-blown citation. Prado and Sedanus. So this is what I was mentioning about social dominance orientation. But anyways, that's not today's topic. So the social comparison kind of initiated a lot of research that could theoretically lead to people like Prado and Sedanus and et al. Okay, so back to Leon Festinger. So then this guy comes along and he says, okay, well, I think there's more going on inside the head. I don't think that we're just black boxes in there, and we're only stimuli reacting to environment, as the experiments by B.F. Skinner or Pavlov were showing, right? So one of those first theories to start to question that what's going on in our heads, so the cognitive revolution, is called the theory of cognitive dissonance. And this is kind of that notion that I opened with saying like, oh, if you're a pet lover and you kind of are reminded that you are a pet lover, and you're reminded of how much you like kind of support the notion that pets have lives too, and you value their lives as well, but then you go to a restaurant and eat a steak, that by being reminded of that you might not enjoy the steak so much. This is the cognitive process. He says something happened inside only. It didn't happen outside. So I could lose my enjoyment for the steak without any stimulus in the middle of eating it. If I just am reminded, if I'm just sitting there and I just go, oh man, I miss my dog, and then I start thinking about my dog and animal lives, all that stuff, and I think, oh wow, this used to be a cow, and I'm eating it for pleasure, not because I need it. Yikes. I might start feeling bad about it. And that all happened inside my head. So cognitive dissonance is one of those theories that was like kind of massive because it was one of those game changers. It was like, wait, hold on, there's stuff going on inside there, and he showed evidence um, of stuff going on using a paradigm where he bored these participants out of their minds basically, and then he had these participants. So basically, okay, I'll just explain his paradigm really fast for cognitive dissonance. So I was going to start with the definition, and what I'm going to do to define cognitive dissonance is I'm going to read the definition off of a website, and then I'm going to unpack the terms for all of us. That way, anyone following along, because I said you can just Google it. Typically, people go to Wikipedia, and Wikipedia, I'm telling you this as a graduate student, is not the worst place to start. It is not the end-all, be-all. You shouldn't believe it word for word because people can troll on there. But usually they provide citations, and those citations are like a gold mine. Like, it's so nice to just go straight to their citations, so you don't have to scour the internet. They're already kind of placed under there. So if you Google cognitive dissonance and go to Wikipedia, you can already see the citations. For example, I'll drop in a couple of citations. The Leon Festinger one is definitely here, and I'll drop those in there. Here's one. I'm gonna drop in the short version of this. I don't need a bib code because I don't. And again, if people are having a lot of issues getting these, please let me know, whether in chat or I'll do one more. The theory of cognitive dissonance. Boom. There's a couple of theories right there, or a couple of citations. That theory of cognitive dissonance is a book, though, so if you're having difficulties getting access to any of these things, just let me know and we can talk about it. It's easiest on Discord, so a quick plug for the Discord community, but of course you don't have to join it. We'll find a different way if you can't join the Discord or don't really feel like it. That's totally fine. Okay, so let me take a quick water break. Okay. So, I was talking about Leon Festinger. So he cognitive dissonance. So I was going to go over the experiment, basically. So basically, this guy, Leon Festinger, and colleagues, they designed an experiment. I'm just trying to find this page, just so I really want to make sure I don't play the game. Like I said, the last thing I want to avoid on this channel is playing a game of telephone. And that's where I'm trying to report science, and if I get it wrong, then I would have gotten it wrong all over the internet. So a lot of the time I'm talking, it's either because I'm 100% confident already, or it's because I have it here in front of me, and I'm kind of verifying it as we go. Like I said, I am a graduate student, so I do know a lot of theories and stuff like that. That's why I knew off the top of my head about social dominance orientation. But I'm not a PhD, and I'm not 30-year PhD person, so I'm not going to be a fountain of knowledge. That's kind of what I also want to show in this channel. That's a goal, is that it's okay to not know things. I'm a graduate student here, and I Google theories that are prominent in my own field. Okay, and I'm going to learn. That's the point. We're all learning. So that's why I hope that this can also help people ask questions if they might be a little too shy to. Okay. So. Wait, where to go? So sorry. I lost it. I know it almost like the back of my hand, but I really don't want to get it wrong. I just want to have it here just in case I have to look. I'm looking for it. I guess this gives chat a little bit of time in case anyone is joining late. I can't see the viewer count. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, so basically, yeah, Festinger and colleagues, so Carl Smith, ask students, so participants, they volunteer to come in and whatever, and they ask them to do a very tedious task. So super boring, not engaging, basically turning a peg a quarter turn at fixed intervals, like boop, 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 for an hour. So it's super boring. And they were designed to induce a strong negative mental attitude in the subject, so they're just really hating this on they made this game on purpose to induce that sort of I really am bored, I hate this. And then once the experiment was over, the experimenters went over to the students and said, "Hey guys, um, just really quick, can you try to persuade the next batch of participants that this was really fun? Please, please, please. I know you may not like them, but please, please." I don't know what they said word for word to the participants, because there is probably there was a script, as there usually is in a social psychological experiment. We have scripts that we like really think about and revise and edit to make sure that we're not causing any sort of impact on our data without wanting to. So I don't know what exactly said, but just imagine they're just like, "Oh, please, just try to convince the other group." Now, the next group were already paid. They're actors, so they weren't actually going to do it. So, but the participants didn't know that. They're what's called in experiments confederates. They're just actors. They're already in on it. So basically, the participants went over and had to try to convince these people that they had a lot of fun. So what they've done was they just created this paradigm. What's up, Clicks? Welcome, welcome. Why am I madman? Take a pause. Because of the experiment? Yeah, I am talking to myself. But it's also because it's going to be recorded, so it'd be weird if it's just an empty chat room. I mean, a silent chat room. A little bit of craziness didn't hurt anybody, right, Clicks? Hi. Hi. How am I your dad? What? I'm like, what, 4 or 5 years older? I don't get this joke anymore. Any questions so far, Clicks? Or should I continue? I can continue. Oh, I get it. Alright. Well, I'll continue for now, but if you have a question, just let me know. But where did I leave? Oh, the experiment. So basically, they asked these participants to, and now I can talk to Clicks. I'm like looking at your name now, so I'm gonna pretend like you're a person, like I'm looking at a face. So now, I'm actually not doing that. So what they did is they asked these participants to go to lie to a confederate or an actor, and they made 3 different conditions when they did this. So they split all the participants into 3 independent groups. So this is what's called the between subjects design, because not every participant got to see every single condition of the experiment. So this is what's called a between subjects design. So so they had 3 different levels of one independent factor or variable. And basically what they did was, for one group, they paid them $1 for this experiment. That was it. And this was done back in like 1959. So I guess today, like, you could compare it to like $10. I don't know. But they paid them $1 back then, and then $20 to other participants, to the second group, sorry, and then nothing. They didn't say anything to, nothing to the last group. So they got paid nothing. So let's see if I don't know if at what point you came in, Clicks, but here's the really fun question about this experiment. Which group do you think rated or tried to convince the actors the most, that said this was the most fun experiment ever? The guys that got paid $1, the guys that got paid $20, or the guys that got paid nothing? I'll give it like a minute. All right. Why? Why do you think that? Person in the group was better than all the rest. The $1? So they all performed first, right? They all did the same task, and they were all stupid bored. And then they got paid. Right? So it doesn't... They get paid afterward on purpose, right? That's by experimental design. Because if you pay them first, $1 and $20, then you've already tampered with your motivation. Like way too much. And that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to induce a cognitive dissonance. So I don't really understand what you mean by like person in the group was better than all the rest. So when I say there's groups, I mean like there's like 100 people that got paid $1. There's like 100 people that got paid $20, and there's like 100 people that got paid $0. But why would the $1 people, the people that got paid $1, rate the really boring peg turning task as the most fun? The other groups didn't rate it as fun. They're like, oh yeah, it's okay. So why not the 0? Why not the 20? This is like weird waiting music. Feels like there's a timer to the... Okay, that's an interesting answer. But what about the... Okay, so how would you explain the $20? Okay, that's a really interesting answer. They were happy with the $1. But what about people with $20? Shouldn't they be even more happy? They got 20 bucks. This is back then. So today you'd be paid like $200. Like if I just did a simple I don't know what it would actually inflate to, but if like in today's, so this is done in 1959. So in today's dollars, like $1 is like maybe 10, if you will, and then 200. Too much reward. Okay, so how could too much reward lead you to not be as happy? You think you can be too happy that it breaks? Based on what? Where do you get that notion? That's interesting, though. Yeah, but that generally is for things like exogenous drugs, right? Like drinking alcohol will make you happy in the moment, but then you have a hangover. But this is a psychological thing. It happens instant. So I don't know if you've ever experienced winning too much money, but I haven't. Like if people just gave me $2,000, I would be happier. Like there's no amount of money that I could feel like I would break and not be happy about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I don't think there's an upper cap to that. Yet people that got paid $1 were happier, or they weren't. Let's not confuse it. They themselves were not happier. They were trying to convince the actors harder, and they were promoting the thing. As my ears happens after. I'm so sorry to hear that. These participants, it wasn't a measurement of how happy they actually were. It was a measurement of how much they tried to convince someone else that it was awesome and how much they rated it. So how much they lied, essentially. Yeah, okay, but that's like a very niche type of thought that is hard to generalize to everybody. Not everybody is going to think that way. So the answer, basically, but you were tapping into it. So some of these participants probably were happier than people in the $20 were in the $20 thing, but because of cognitive dissonance. So what they showed was a clever way of making people have to adjust their internal beliefs on the dime, right? So to say, man, I only got paid $1 for all of that. That was awful. I'm a slave, and now I have to lie. So now they're gonna have to go out there and lie really a lot about it. That's gonna cause so much stress that they now have to start adjusting their beliefs towards, or their attitude towards, what they had just done, and then they had to be like, no, actually, it wasn't that bad, and that kind of resolves their issue. Versus the $20, they have a better justification. It's an external justification. They got paid $20. It's a lot, so they're not going to be as motivated to promote it. They're like, yeah, it was great. Like, yeah, like you're going to get a lot of money, so cool. But the $1 is like, dude, it was so much fun. Like, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the money. It was so much fun. I had like a blast just trying to turn it. right? That's the cognitive dissonance. That's causing basically in this adjustment in attitude or belief internally on the dime. And this is what kind of instigated this notion of a cognitive revolution in the psychological literature. Because beforehand, like I was mentioning at the earlier in the stream, before these types of experiments, it was thought in psychology that like we were kind of like a black box. We didn't have ways of analyzing the brain or getting to behavior, and so we were just following psychologists, or not psychologists, like behavioralists, I should say, behavioralists such as Pavlov or B.F. Skinner. So the notion was that we are just beings that respond to stimuli, and that's it. That nothing really happens in here. But Festinger was like, no, I think things are happening in here that can modulate our behavior that is independent of a stimulus condition. Like you don't have to be conditioned to absolutely everything. Like you yourself can produce things. And cognitive dissonance was like some data that showed that. Okay, so now let's define cognitive dissonance to really unpack why the $1 would behave that way. So I'm pulling this definition from Wikipedia. I've already read it, and it does kind of corroborate or kind of it agrees with social psychological literature when I last read my textbook. So the cognitive dissonance is defined as, in the field of psychology, cognitive dissonance occurs when a person holds contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values, and is typically experienced as psychological stress when they participate in an action that goes against one or more of them. So let's unfold that a little bit. So cognitive dissonance occurs when a person holds contradictory beliefs. So again, I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, have you ever felt a little bit guilty eating a steak after having pet your dog or something? Of course, this doesn't apply to absolutely everybody, but maybe anyone listening out there has encountered a situation where, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of dissonance happening there. He's talking about a game, and man, it is a psychological stressful process. And we have to adjust our attitudes and beliefs to just keep going. Otherwise, we would break. So at the beginning of the stream, I was mentioning, like, let's just say you're a person that is a pet lover. You have all these types of pets, and you generally endorse the idea that you value animal lives. They're amazing. We should strive to save as many animal lives as possible, blah, blah, blah. But then you go to a restaurant and you order a big, juicy T-bone. And while you're eating the T-bone, you're enjoying it, yeah, and then you get reminded of your pets, and you get reminded of animals. You get reminded of how much you value those animals and how much you want to stand, how much you want those values to represent you as a person. And so, but you're sitting there eating a steak that's kind of contradictory to your values, so that's going to cause an internal tension. You're like, oh man. So you either have to adjust your behavior. So this is what the cognitive dissonance theory is saying, is you either have to adjust your behavior. So stop eating meat or stop doing it, and then you can hold on to your values as strong as you want, or adjust your values or beliefs, or do something about your beliefs. So Leon Festinger was saying something we can do is like willful ignorance. We just kind of put down the blinds for a second, or put up the blinds for a second, and just kind of be in our own world and distract ourselves, or we do like a distraction, so the cognitive dissonance goes away, right? But one way of resolving it is by adjusting your attitude or belief, or adjusting your behavior. So again, cognitive dissonance occurs when a person holds contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values, and is typically experiences psychological stress. So again, that's the tension I'm mentioning. They're like, ooh, I maybe shouldn't be, what are people going to think of me? This is how stress manifests itself psychologically, right? Like you start to worry about you as a person. You start to worry about how you're going to be viewed. You start to worry about if you're like lying to yourself, or if you're like have a false agenda, stuff like that. I don't know the whole array of thoughts that people can have. But it's millions, of course. So that unpacks kind of the first part, and then the last part was when they participate in an action that goes against one or more of those ideals or beliefs. So again, the action of eating the T-bone is kind of going against this notion of you value animal lives, because you're eating basically for pleasure. You basically know you don't have to have the T-bone. You can get around eating protein. You don't have to have that T-bone. But yet you're eating there for hedonistic purposes, or for pleasure purposes, if you will. So it kind of mismatches with your values of animal lives. If you were starving, then it would be really easy to solve that cognitive dissonance, because then you say you're going to value life more, and of course you're going to eat an animal. But in the setting of a restaurant where you're eating a T-bone of all steaks, right? And sometimes you end up throwing away half the T-bone because they're big. A lot of dissonance can happen there. So let's continue with the definition from Wikipedia. According to this theory, when two actions or ideas are not psychologically consistent with each other, people do all in their power to change them until they become consistent. So this is again adjusting your behavior or adjusting your attitude. I've already been mentioning how we can go about doing those a little bit. So I'm going to take a break to just mention, I'll take a break so that way anyone listening on YouTube can also kind of have a little bit of time to think about it. Think about a time that's happened to you. Have you had a belief, attitude, value, anything like that, and then you behave a certain way and you felt kind of stressed about it and you needed to adjust something? This may be very relevant to a lot of any American listeners due to the elections, right? We all had beliefs, attitudes. We all have attitudes. And I don't want this chat to become political, but I'm just saying something interesting to think about if you're listening to us from foreign countries too. Like, just think about your political parties. Think about your affiliation. Think about your group memberships. It doesn't even have to be political. It can be other group memberships like honors versus, I don't know. But just think about your social life, basically, and think about situations, whether you've seen cognitive dissonance happening before you or you experiencing the cognitive dissonance, and what did you do? You don't have to put it in the chat. I'm not. I love this stuff because it's like really putting a science to our behaviors. I understand it. Like, certain theories is not for everybody either. Like, I'm in social psychology, but it doesn't mean I find absolutely every theory of social psych fascinating. Within social psychology, there's like a lot of theory in close relationships, right? That's not what I'm all about. So like, you're not going to get a win. Yeah, you're not going to get a win absolutely every time when I talk about science, and that's fine. And I understand that. I hope that this channel isn't only going to be me talking the whole entire time. I'm just like sparking a conversation based on theories I know. Because do what you know. So that's what I'm doing. You also have to remember the intention of this channel is to be more chatty. So like, actually, I just thought of it, we could be on Discord, and if you engage in conversation, it's way better than just listening to my voice drone on. Because a one-way communication is never as engaging as a two-way communication. I know this as a teacher. That's why, like, I hope that these topics can also spark the notions for future streams. Like, so basically, people can listen to this, maybe not participate, and like just listen for like 20 minutes and like hear the definition of cognitive dissonance. But then during a gaming session, we could talk about any way you want it. Anyways, during my gaming streams, we could talk about how cognitive dissonance applies in the game if people want to. It's like a cool way of applying science to gaming, and that's the point of this channel. So that's kind of why I do these things too. It allows for like future chats too with me and stuff like that. And that's why the Discord is being built. I don't know if you've noticed, Clicks, but the SPG Discord has changed today quite a bit. So I've already been trying to promote it a little bit on this channel, but it changed today. It's becoming I'm trying to make it a hub for stuff I speak about here and resources that are on my channel. So I'm trying to make it a hub there so people can, whenever anyone wants to post like their stuff. And there's also gaming ones, so if you want to post like BDO guides or something, I don't know, sorry, I'm drinking a lot of water, I'm getting hiccups. So if you want to post like BDO guides or whatever guides, or your channel, I have to see how promoting other people's channels under niche situations, we'll see. I just don't want it to become full of ads. I'm going to try to keep ads away, as far away as science as possible. I don't want that to be mixed in. Science needs to be kept better. Not better, but hey, I saw that in the gaming channel. You could put that in the Shark Party chat. So anyway, so the other thing about this, Clicks, is these Taco Tuesdays and Science Fridays can also be applicable during gaming sessions and give kind of a platform to be like, oh, dude, like give it platform for anyone listening to be like, dude, you were talking about cognitive dissonance, and it's like interesting how you're playing BDO and you're kind of running through cognitive dissonance as you tap Penka 2. I'm like, yeah, you're right. There's cognitive dissonance. Like, that is sick, right? That's how I think this theory can actually be taught. You're falling asleep now. I get that because I'm just lecturing. But now imagine 10% of the things I've talked about stick to you and you bring it up during BDO. Boom, I've done my job. Like science is one and education is one. I'm not doing it just because I'm trying to satisfy some job either. Those are just my hopes. Like it'd be sick. That's all I'm saying. If you don't learn anything, that's fine too. Like I understand this is also people's free time. It's intended to de-stress. So it's like pretty cool for people to want to talk about. Like I'm inspired by some of these people who are wanting to talk about science. Like that's really cool. Like you're taking your free time to continue using your brain in a critical way instead of just like I understand people want to wind down. There's nothing bad with that. Absolutely no judgments here. Like go watch your favorite streamer. Go watch him do something stupid. Go watch him play a game as a professional. Go do it. Like do what makes you happy. Um, but if you do want to continue talking science, it'd be cool to apply it while we game, and you're like, dang, that's cool. We're applying science, understanding it on on like a different level, on like, and you're doing it in your real life. And that's what I really like about social psychology, is that these theories that I talk about here, you can think about, you're a human too. You are a data point for yourself, essentially. You can be a scientist with yourself. We're all essentially. I like the little quote from Ratatouille. Maybe I'm gonna do next Taco Tuesday. We're all scientists. Like Ratatouille has like we're all chefs, whatever. We're all scientists in a sense, because especially in social psychology, because we can run like simulations in our own head, and of course, if you're aware of your biases, that would help you better to understand yourself. But it's okay. So that's the cool thing about social psychology, and why I'm gonna try to use a lot of social psychological theory in these chats, because I feel like it's really easy for people to connect to. And it would be really awesome to connect it to gaming too, to really strengthen what we talk about on Taco Tuesdays and Science Fridays. All right, so I've kind of talked about, I did my shout outs at the beginning. I've talked about Leon Festinger, Cognitive Revolution, kind of what was going on in social psychology. I know it's very lecture-y because, again, Clix has joined us now, but when I was talking a lot, it was an empty chat room. In the future, of course, it'd be cool to also just talk to people via Discord, but I don't know how to really manage that so far, because yesterday I was like, people kept joining in the Discord channel as I was streaming. It was getting very chaotic, which can make for an off-putting science stream or gaming stream, and I understand that too. So I don't quite know how to handle having other people talk with me, but maybe I'll just do like one-on-one interviews, like radio talk show style. I don't know, maybe max 3 people. We'll see. I'm always open to suggestions. You can drop them either in the Discord or during any stream in the chat channel, and then I talked about Leon Festinger, cognitive dissonance, and then I defined cognitive dissonance and gave an example of the meat eating example, and we unpacked the definition found on Wikipedia a little bit. So now I'm just going to transition to more just chatting about anything for a little bit, and if nothing's really going to pop up, that's totally fine. We can end the stream here. I'll upload it to YouTube and might begin a gaming stream, like a post discussion, or I don't know, maybe I'll just game. Not so certain yet. So I'm going to give it another minute before I begin talking again. I think so, yeah. I think I might be Guru 18 in BDO now. I know I was like at 88% before I started cooking like 3 or 4K Balanos meals. So I think I should be at Guru 18. We will see when I'm done streaming. I don't want to like open the stream and have everything crash on me. Or open video and have everything crash on me. So, yeah. So anyone listening to any version of this recorded, whether on the Twitch itself or YouTube, if you've made it this far, first of all, you're a champion, and second of all, join us. You can always join us in chats, and it doesn't have to be. And when I say join us, it doesn't have to be Discord, but also join us on Discord. Clixier's a moderator in both this Twitch stream and Discord. It's good conversation, buddy. And he's an even better jokester. Oh my goodness. Sad face. I revamped the Discord channel logo. Did that today. That was fun. I think I like this one more. I also updated my Twitch logo as well. That's right. Yeah. I like it. I like it. Why does it say you're offline in Discord, Clicks? Yeah, it says you're offline. Dude, until we can find a way to deliver tacos. Oh, I see. Until I can find a way to deliver tacos online, I'm gonna eventually switch it to do this. Watch. That way I don't get sued or anything like that for not delivering. I'm gonna eventually Photoshop it to say that. But right now I'm writing my dissertation, so I don't have too much time to be dedicating to like all the small nuances of the channel. I just need to get a functional one. And so far it seems to be working. I am really enjoying the process of growing this channel because like every week it seems like there's some new idea or something new happening that I can do, and it feels like it gives me a side project to do as I write my dissertation. Give me energy. It gives me like energy to feed off of for my dissertation. And some energy to grind in BDO too. Oh my god. If it wasn't for streaming, I don't know if I could grind as long anymore. As some of my grind sessions go. So yeah, little by little, the Discord will get better. The stream will get better. Hopefully. I'm trying. My about was updated today. I made a little Photoshop of a bunch of sharks huddled together. I actually ended up liking it a lot. Yep. Okay, so I think if there is going to be no more discussion regarding cognitive dissonance or anything at all, if it's going to go to gaming, then I think I'd rather end the stream here, and I can either start up a gaming stream. I don't know what to stream yet. I think it's going to be BDO tonight. What's a lot of work? Yeah, it was a little bit of work, but Geeky helped me. Well, he kind of got the ball rolling on the channel. He started the science channel on the Shark Party Discord channel, and then it just kind of inspired me to get all those other channels rolling, like the citation channel, the learning resources channel, science meme channel, gaming channel, and suggestions channel. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna do that, I might as well promote it on my page. So like I felt like I needed to have that before the stream today, just so I could promote it on the stream and have that going, because it'd be sick to start getting a community rolling or kind of growing there to get a lot of different resources from a lot of people, like different people from a lot of different backgrounds. You see what I'm saying? Like it'd be sick, like if like I know some people like already, like some of the followers here already, like they're IT like experts or their backgrounds are in IT, so they can like maybe provide something that they use to learn, I don't know, C sharp. Like I don't know where that is. I know what I use to learn R, but C sharp, no idea. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for with this community, and also just a place if people want to just chill. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I did that today. It was fun. I like it. I like doing like small step updates like this instead of trying to take on like at first when I first started the stream, I remember I was like trying to make it look pristine with the first step, and it's like so hard. Like, and I didn't even take my own advice. In my very first Taco Tuesday, I was talking about Rome wasn't built in a day, and I failed myself already. I was already trying to make a very pristine looking channel right off the bat, and already the massive difference in what my channel looks like now to the very first day I streamed is crazy how much it's changed. And I expected to change way more because that's just the nature of things. And I just wasn't happy with the rate, and I wanted to get it done so much faster. And I noticed I was actually making things worse. And now that I'm just letting it kind of flow organically, oh, it feels good. It's like one panel at a time has been a nice way of updating this thing. And then all the support is always really appreciated. All the conversations and talking and stuff like that. No art shark? What art? Like an art channel? Should I do an art channel? Is that what you're recommending? I could do an art channel. That'd be actually kind of cool. You're right. I don't even know if that's what you meant, but I like it, and I'm creating a channel right now. Let's do art channel. Art and music channel. Because right now I'm going to separate them. Art channel. I'm going to separate them. Art channel. You know you're a mod. You can create these channels as well if you want. You don't have to. But, alright, art channel is in. Okay, channel created for art. That's a good idea. I like that idea. I'm not an artist, so I'm probably never gonna be able to post in there. But there is music channel. I am a musician, so music channel also makes sense that. But I'm not gonna be posting my own music. I don't want to try to like make this seem like I'm just building a community just to sell my music or something. I want that to be the last thing on people's minds. I want the first thing to be on people's minds is science. Like not even me, but science. And like talk science and like let's talk about cool stuff or stuff like that, anything like that. I don't want that to be a thing. So I might not be posting my own music in the music channel, but we'll see. The only thing is with all these channels, and I don't know how I'm gonna actually end up dealing with this, because right now I don't expect it to be very active, and I don't know when it would get active. But if it were to get active, how to handle like people just trolling and posting a lot of bad stuff. That's gonna be. I guess I can cross that bridge as I get there. That's kind of the way I've been handling a lot of these things because like all of my cognitive effort in planning my days and doing stuff goes into my grad school, and so this stream is like really for me not only to vent and like get my mind off things, but I mean, it's the main reason is to promote science and get it out there. But it also allows me to vent and stuff. So I'm kind of doing it because of that. It allows me to vent and kind of de-stress. Because of that, I don't want this to turn into a stressful thing that I have to do. Otherwise, I also really feel like the quality of this channel will drop a lot if I start hating it. So to avoid all of that, um, yeah, things are just going. I'm just going and seeing how these things go, and I always take suggestions, and I really like to click suggestions. So now it's there. We have an art channel, music channel. Let me update that on my about page too. That those two can be found. Thank you for the suggestion. There we go. We got it. Dude, oh man, I'm really happy with the new logo on my stream. The live goes perfectly. Well, at least on my like when I see my own stream, or whatever, the little live thing below the shark is like perfectly underneath the shark. I don't know. It makes a really nice kind of framing effect for my shark, like a stage for him to stand on. Came out nice. All right. Anything else? Any other? Do you have any other suggestions? Something that you think would be cool for the channel to have? I'm open. I'm all ears. It's growing. It's already the list of different channels is growing, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, if you've made it, if you're just joining or just listening here, I don't know on a recorded version why we would skip to the very end, or like 1 hour and 11 minutes in. I've already kind of I've done shout outs. I did kind of the intro of who I am as a scientist and stuff like that, my background. I also talked about Leon Festinger, the father of this theory of cognitive dissonance, what was going on around the time that cognitive dissonance came out. And then defined cognitive dissonance and went over one of the original experiments that provided a scientific approach and scientific evidence of cognitive dissonance occurring in people's minds. So I've already talked about all of that and then gave kind of a real-world example. Happy to restart at any point if anyone joined late, and this also goes for anyone listening on YouTube. If anyone ever joins late, you can always be like, yo, can I get like a 5-minute like explanation real quick? Can you just really quick define? I'm always happy to restart or to re-explain anything at any point. And this also includes any stream as well. If I already talked about cognitive dissonance and like during a gaming stream, I'm just sitting there chatting about the game itself, you can be like, hey, you talked about cognitive dissonance like last Tuesday. What's that about? I'm super happy to talk about it. Okay, so any last minute discussions, questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, suggestions for the stream or the Discord? If not, then I think I'm gonna end today's Taco Tuesday there and begin the upload to YouTube, which will take me about another half an hour to an hour, and then maybe start another stream, or we'll see. I don't know. I'll wait till my stream gets to 1:15. So give it a little bit more time before we cut this stream. And again, if anyone joins late and wants to talk about it, the stream will keep going. I wouldn't end it if people just started joining and talking now. I'm not going to end it. This is the point of the stream, is to talk about cognitive dissonance. I am a graduate student in social psychology and neuroscience, so social neuroscience. So that's where I'm coming from, talking about cognitive dissonance. I just like to talk about it and talk about our daily lives regarding cognitive dissonance on a low stress level. I'm also running out of water. All right, well, it is 1 hour and 15 minutes worth of stream. I'm going to start signing off I know I keep saying to let last minute stragglers, but I do want to do a sign off for the Taco Tuesday because also cool, my playlist just ended. That is very good timing. Sweet. Okay. Well, first of all, thanks, Clicks, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Every time you join, it helps keep the conversation going and flowing, and the talking going, and generating more content for these segments. So thanks for joining. Really appreciate that. And for anyone listening to this or anyone that stopped by, I don't know how you would even hear this. Thank you, but just thank you. And anyone listening to this recorded version, whether it is stream or on Twitch, you're viewing it in my videos, whatever, or on YouTube, you are a champion. I'll continue to say that. Thank you so much. Provides motivation to keep doing this. Um, so cool. I'm going to continue to do these every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Science Fridays are every science at 4 p.m. And this is in Pacific Standard Time. I do announce before I'm going to try to be as diligent as possible regarding the Twitter that's found in my about. I do have a Twitter that you don't even have to follow me on the Twitter. I don't mind if you don't follow me, whatever, that's fine. What's up? Welcome. I guess we do have so it was worth staying a little longer. Let me start up more music then, if I'm going to stay streaming. I was about to sign off because I was waiting for questions regarding cognitive dissonance or anything like that, but I'll stay. I was also mentioning I'm happy to stay if people want to chat about anything. So I've already talked about a little. I usually open up my streams with these segments, telling people what these are, what to expect, and the topics I'm going to talk about. But these streams are always open to talk about anything. Then I gave a little bit of background about myself as to why I'm talking about cognitive dissonance and stuff. Then I actually went over cognitive dissonance and Leon Festinger, the father of cognitive dissonance, if you will. And then just Clicks joined us, and I started talking to Clicks about stuff. And we went over the experiment and BDO, because we play BDO, Black Desert Online. How's it going? How's your evening? Make sure this is on. What's going on with these bacon names? I like these bacon names that I just had, like yesterday was it? I think someone named Bacon's Bacon. I'm like, that's delicious. Bacon forever, delicious. Instantly appealing. I don't know if he's still here. If you're still here, you can say hi. If not, I'm going to continue with the sign off. Let's see. We'll give it like 20, 30 seconds. Okay, cool. Okay, so as I was saying, if you're watching this on any recorded version, whether it's Twitch or YouTube, you are a champion. I'm going to continue to say that. It provides motivation. And if you're wondering like about my YouTube, the link is in my about, I believe, or whatever. There is like a link to my YouTube channel. Again, I'm not seeking subscribes. I'm not seeking anything like that. I'm just happy with people listening to me and hopefully eventually participating and stuff like that. That's what I'm happy with. So thanks to anyone listening to this, and if you made it this far, holy cow, you are a super champ. Thanks again, Clicks, for joining, and happy Tuesday. Maybe in the far future we can get real tacos while we talk about it, as per Clicks' request. All right. Have a great evening, everybody. Peace.